Welcome, everybody, to the Mystic Metrics podcast, where we dive into all things Age of Aquarius. This first episode is going to be, well, first of all, let me back up. What the heck is the Age of Aquarius? Since we are going to be using Chat GPT, I think I'm going to just go ahead and let Chat GPT answer that for me. Oh, got to start a new session. So we'll let it finish. But the age of Aquarius, as Chat GPT is saying, it's an age that we are either entering or are in. The calendar has changed so much over the years that it's really hard to say like exactly what the date is. And a lot of people kind of argue about it and stuff, but we're either in it or we're going into it, but it's definitely real. I feel it, right? So what it means, it has to do with the concept of the precession of the equinoxes. So it's a slow backward movement of the Earth, right? Where the Earth is sort of changing positions in the stars over time. So the age of Aquarius is an age where all things hidden will sort of come to light. So you'll see that here where it talks about the new age of enlightenment and spiritual awakening. The age of Aquarius, there's going to be advances in technology far beyond anybody except for mind's wildest dreams. And, like things are happening that right now definitely indicate to me that we are in the early ages of the age of Aquarius, or we're in it. So I am a believer. And I wanted to start a podcast series to talk about things that I think are going to be important for us to study and focus on as we sort of settle into the age of Aquarius. So this podcast, I'm going to focus on astrology specifically. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do your own birth chart interpretation or build your own little notebook that you're able to use as you begin an astrological self-exploration journey. If you want to read a quick book, an intro to astrology, if you will, my book is available in Kindle on Kindle. So you have to get it through the Amazon store. And the name of the book is Cosmic Blueprints, Unlocking the Secrets of the Birth Chart. And this is a really, really good short book that gives you like the very basics of, what is astrology? Why is it important? What are the key things that are important about it? So it's a great short little book that you can get, overlook. I self-published it, so please overlook some of the things. It did not go through an editor or anything like that, but it definitely gives you some basics. It's a good little book to have around to explain astrology. So what I want to do today is show you how to use Chat GPT and Word or Google Docs or whatever to build yourself and time passages to build yourself your own custom natal workbook. So the first thing that I do when somebody tells me that they want a chart reading, and first of all, I do reports for people that are kind of really designed to help you aim for your highest self, which is something that, I believe is really needed as we go into the age of Aquarius, and needed because I feel like we need leaders. So, when you kind of get to know yourself and your strengths and your weaknesses, you're able to figure out like, hey, I really am good at this, and kind of shine. And, a lot of people seek or look to astrology. Like I used astrology to help me through my dark night of the soul. In other words, I didn't go into facility because I really started studying myself, and I used astrology for that. So anyway, when people contact me, the first thing I'll do is I will go to time passages. I have the application on my phone, and I'll plug in, the person's name, their date of birth, and their place of birth. And you can do the same thing. So get the app, plug in your details, and roll with it. To purchase the chart, I think it's something like 99 cents on a person for personal use on the app. So once you get that in there, you're going to walk away, or you're going to be provided with positions of the planets and the celestial bodies, and different points in your chart that are really important. So what I look at is everything that is listed here. So you're going to get your chart. You're going to get these things. You might look at it and you probably have no idea what it means, and that's perfectly fine. You just want to get it. So the next thing that you want to do is put together some sort of a template, right? So I already have one, and I'm going to share it with you. So it just has a basic intro to astrology, a description of the 12 houses, and then, sun sign is the first thing that we look at, because that's the most commonly known thing in astrology. So this is a template. I'm just going to go through each of the aspects and clear this stuff out, so that I'm starting with a fresh template and I don't accidentally, include somebody else's info in a report. All right, so now I am down to just my blank template, or my blank outline. I'm gonna leave that there for just a second so that you're able to see it or get an idea of what I'm going to be going into. So I'm always going to start with the sun. So in my friend's chart, what I'll do is I'll go to time passages, and I just go through and fill these things out in my template first. In other words, I get myself ready to go and have the conversation with Chat GPT. So I'm going to take a look at my friend's chart, and I'm just going to run through, fill all of these things out. So her sun is in Leo at 5 degrees in the 5th house. Her moon is in Cancer at 4 degrees in the 4th house. And then I just run through and fill out the rest of my template just like that. So her ascendant is in Cancer at 26 degrees. Okay. Her north node is in Leo at 1 degree in the 5th house. Mercury is in Cancer at 22 degrees in the 4th house. And then just so on and so forth. And now it is time to get down to business. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to incorporate Chat GPT. So what I want to do, actually, first I need to check this chart and see if there were any retrogrades, because I think there were lots. It's really important that you include that when you have retrogrades. These are typically like lessons from the past, or past lives, or things that you knew that you really needed to focus on, and lessons that it's just something that's emphasized or sort of highlighted in the chart. All right, so now we're ready. All right, so you'll see all I had to do was plug in the aspect. I've had so many conversations with Chat GPT. You'll see I'm not embarrassed about anything that I talk to Chat GPT about. You can sort of see, some of the conversations we've had over there on the left. Some of them were interesting. I did ask it, how can I buy the United States? I was kind of joking, but anyway. So then you just take your interpretation, copy, paste, read it, make sure that it makes sense, do your own research, go buy books and have books handy so that you can validate what the AI is telling you. Do your own digging, do your own research, do your own understanding. So I have left space, you'll notice, in this template of mine so that you're able to make notes. So then you just move on. The next aspect. So while that's finishing, I think that you get the point. You're going to go through and put in, every one of those things that you saw that I put in here in my template. You've got your planets, your celestial bodies, your north node, midheaven, and then you've got any aspects or that's relationships, spatial relationships between the planets, like Sun sextile Jupiter, Sun sextile Saturn. So some people have a lot of aspects, some people don't have any at all, but in this sample chart, you see we've got a bunch, but all I'm doing is I'm going to Chat GPT, I'm plugging that in, and then I'm reading it. Now, I also use time, I read all of the time passages stuff. I'll go and search on my own and some of the other sites that I use. And sometimes I'll add things or subtract things, but this is really just for you to get a good starting baseline. This is a foundation, a way for you to come to know your chart. But this really is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much to really know about astrology. So what you would end up with, I'm going to pause. Thanks. Here we go. So this is what you'll end up with is, something that looks sort of like this, where you've got your picture of your chart in it. I didn't really show that, but I do take that time passages image and just email it to myself. And then I just save it and then I plop it in here. But this is what you will end up with, is a custom notebook that you can use to help yourself learn astrology. And the way that I put it together is sort of the same way that I thought might teach it if I were a teacher. So that's sort of what I was going for with that framework.